Guys, lean in for a second because what I'm about to tell you can completely transform the way she feels the exact moment your name lights up on her phone screen. And no, it's not because you're using some cheap psychological trick or because you memorized a random line from the internet. It's because you finally understand a fundamental truth. Attraction is never built through intense pressure, constant chasing, or fake performing. It is built through pure energy, perfect timing, and the exact way you make a woman feel when she's right there next to you, and even more dangerously, how she feels when you're completely gone. A cute nickname said, with the right vibe, can land way deeper than a massive paragraph of text. When you finally stop over-explaining yourself, drop the over-pursuit, and actually give your presence some room to breathe, that is exactly when her curiosity turns into a craving. That's when she starts replaying your words over and over in her head. That's when you step back for a moment and just watch how things unfold. Because let's be totally honest here. The average guy talks way too much and says way too little. They flood her with nonstop attention, but absolutely none of it feels special or earned. They compliment her the exact same way every other guy in her DMs does. You're beautiful, you're hot, you're amazing. Those are safe words, predictable words, and entirely forgettable words. And then these guys wonder why nothing sticks. But a man who knows how to speak with pure intention, a guy who knows how to create warmth, playfulness, and emotional tension with just a few choice words, he becomes completely unforgettable. Now listen closely. This has nothing to do with manipulation, and it's not about pretending to be someone you're not. This is about transforming into a man whose presence carries real weight. A man whose words feel deeply personal. A guy who doesn't just throw his attention at every single woman he sees, but when he chooses to give it, it actually means something. And that is exactly why cute nicknames can be so incredibly powerful. It's not because the specific word itself is magic. The magic is entirely in the feeling behind it. When you call a woman a nickname that feels playful, soft, and completely natural, it builds a private little world between the two of you. It signals to her, I see who you are beyond the surface. It shows there is a unique connection here that belongs strictly to us. That is intimate, that is powerful, and that is memorable. So let's break it down. A nickname like Sunshine works beautifully because it speaks directly to her vibe. It tells her that she completely changes the atmosphere the second she walks into a room. It's not just about her physical looks, it's about what she brings to the table. And every woman genuinely wants to feel like her presence matters, not just her outer appearance. A nickname like Trouble works incredibly well when it's kept playful. It immediately creates a spark of tension. It implies that she has an edge, a little bit of danger, and a lot of personality. It teases her without being mean, and it flirts heavy without sounding desperate. It projects pure confidence. And confidence is always way louder than approval-seeking behavior. Using a nickname like Beautiful still works, absolutely, but only when you deliver it with calm certainty instead of desperation. Don't say it like a guy who is actively trying to impress her. Say it like a man who is simply stating an obvious fact. There is a massive gulf between looking for validation and speaking with conviction, and women pick up on that difference instantly. A nickname like Angel hits the mark when her softer, nurturing side comes out, when she's being genuinely caring, thoughtful, or sweet. It rewards the core of who she is, not just what she displays on the outside, which makes the compliment land so much deeper. And a nickname like Baby can be incredibly powerful too, but only when there is already an established level of comfort and genuine chemistry between you. Timing is absolutely everything. If you force a word before the connection is actually ready for it, it sounds totally fake and borrowed. But if you say it at the perfect moment, it feels entirely natural and completely earned. That is the absolute key, gentlemen. It has to be earned. Because building attraction is never about piling on more effort. It's about absolute precision. One well-placed phrase can accomplish more than 100 empty text messages. But now let's focus on the exact part that most men completely miss out on. The concept is simple. Just disappear and watch what happens. And no, that does not mean you ghost her to play childish games. It means you stop suffocating the relationship. Stop interrupting the natural growth of attraction because you need constant reassurance. Stop reaching out to her every single second just to quiet your own inner anxiety. When a genuine connection exists, space is never your enemy. Space is the exact environment where anticipation grows. If every single thought in her head is immediately answered by your very next text, you leave absolutely no room for mystery, no room for curiosity, and no room for her emotions to naturally rise toward you on their own. But when you are living a full life, driven by a clear purpose, and you possess the discipline to step back instead of constantly chasing, an incredible shift happens. She starts wondering about you. She starts remembering your conversations. She starts actively leaning in. Why? Because whatever is rare instantly becomes valuable. And a man who is completely centered in his own identity is incredibly rare. A man who can be warm and charming without becoming needy is rare. A guy who can flirt heavy without begging for a reaction is rare. A man who can make her smile and then immediately go handle his business is rare. That is the exact man she truly feels. That is the man who stays stuck in her head long after the conversation comes to an end. So, if you are going to use these nicknames, you make sure you use them like a man who possesses deep self-respect. Say them lightly. Say them naturally. Let them fit the vibe of the moment. Do not perform them like an actor. Do not overuse them. And above all else, never use sweet words to mask weak energy. If your daily actions scream insecurity, there is no nickname on the planet that can save you. This entire concept is way bigger than texting, bigger than attraction, and bigger than dating. This is about evolving into a man whose presence feels grounded, playful, and emotionally bulletproof. A man who never has to chase attention because his very demeanor commands respect. A man who doesn't panic when things go silent because he has total peace within his own soul. A man who never needs to force a connection because his raw authenticity creates it naturally. That is the real secret. The nickname is simply the spark, but your inner energy is the actual fire. So the next time you talk to her, stop trying so hard to be impressive. Just be entirely intentional. Make her smile. Make her feel genuinely seen. Give her a nickname that perfectly matches the energy of the moment. Something that feels personal, like the starting point of an inside world that only the two of you fully understand. And then go live your life. Don't hover around her. Don't chase her down. Don't beg for a quick reaction. Let your total absence do exactly what your anxiety has been preventing this entire time. Let her sit quietly with the feeling you just created. Let her wonder why your words hit so completely different. Let her replay that tiny smile she tried so hard to hide from you. Let her genuinely miss the energy you brought into her world. Because men who are always effortlessly available are almost always overlooked. But men who are present, deeply purposeful, and emotionally disciplined become completely unforgettable. So yes, guys, use the nickname. Call her sunshine, call her trouble, or call her beautiful when you actually mean it. But understand this clearly, the word itself is never the win. The true win is the man you become when you finally stop begging for external validation and start moving through life with calm confidence. That is the exact moment your voice carries real weight. That is when your silence becomes incredibly powerful. That is when attraction stops being a prize you chase and starts becoming a reality you create. And when you finally master that shift, you won't ever have to guess whether she feels it or not. You will know it for a fact because she will show you clearly in her smile, in her daily energy, in the way she naturally pulls closer to you, in the way she texts you back completely differently, and in the way your name stays firmly locked in her mind long after the conversation ends. So rise up, sharpen your presence, speak with absolute intention, step back with total confidence, and always remember this: the most magnetic man in any room is never the loudest, never the neediest, and never the one trying the hardest to be chosen. It's the man who already knows his true worth.